What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Garden Life podcast. We are the Duff and Dax.
So we're on a journey of discovering what it means to live whole spirit, soul, and body.
So listen along, watch us, and enjoy the journey.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Garden Life. We are
The Duff and Dax.
This is episode 3.
We made it.
Yeah, we're still going. It's exciting.
Before we start, I just want to acknowledge the fact that I'm still in my dressy church clothes. It's freezing outside.
It is cold here.
And I did not want to get dressed. But also, someone's always wearing slippers in this podcast. So
Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, I have slippers on today.
someone always has to be wearing slippers.
We value cozy, especially
do.
when it's cold.
I am debating getting a
best.
blanket halfway through, but we'll see. Blake might not let me.
No, we have to have some form of professionalism.
We'll see.
Okay. Well, we are very excited. We've really been looking forward to getting to this point. So today's episode, we are going to be talking about how we transitioned out of a plant-based diet.
Yeah.
If you've listened to the first episode, you hear how Vicky was plant-based. She started cooking me meals. I became plant-based. It changed my life, but we are not plant-based anymore. So we kind of wanted to explain, give some context to, okay, what did we learn? Why did we change? How are we feeling now?
Yeah.
And then we're going to talk just generally about diets. We're
not a fan of diets.
Yeah, we hate the term diet. One, they don't last. I'm sure we've all experienced going on a diet and all the things that go along with that. But also diet creates division. You see that all over social media about this one is the only way. It's all you can do to be healthy, to reach your best. Sorry. Love those videos. Anyways, so we're going to be talking about that this episode.
Yeah, so my parents have been plant-based. I might get this wrong, but I'm going to say for 5 to 10 years. Let's go with 8.
Well, longer than 5.
Yeah, about 8 years. So my dad started, we were in high school, secondary school for the Irish people. So I'd come home from school and my dad would make me these crazy juices. So I'd come home, I'd be eating like a carrot, ginger, beetroot, zingy, crazy juice, but I actually loved it.
My dad would just give me a beer.
Oh my gosh. The difference. It's true to this day.
Yeah.
His dad's a fan of Miller. My dad's a fan of a good old juice, you know? So that's how it started. And then we started slowly cutting out red meat in our home and then chicken and all the things, eggs. And we slowly transitioned into a plant-based diet.
Did you ever know like the reasons, or it just started kind of happening? And
yeah, my dad would tell me little facts here and there when I'd see him, like this does this and this does that. And I mean, he was just a bowl of knowledge.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a saying.
I don't think so.
I
but
like
it.
it.
Can be now.
He just knew.
A bowl of knowledge.
Yeah. What do they say? Something of knowledge.
A well? Like
Yeah.
a deep well of knowledge?
I like the bowl better.
Okay.
So he was learning and reading and growing and listening, and he just took it very seriously.
Yeah.
But his main reason for it is he wants to live on this earth for as long as he can, to be around for us and be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't want to not be available the last 10, 15 years because he has a sore hip or he can't walk or
Sure.
he has a bad heart or, catches a bad disease.
Basically, he wanted to take control of his life and his health.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I always respected that and
Sure.
still do. And any period in my life where I was living at home, so, as you know, from my crazy story, I'd live in Australia, I'd come home, I'd go to Canada and I'd come home. So anytime I came home, I would jump in on this diet and I would lose weight.
You wouldn't do it when you were gone?
No, not necessarily. I did by the time I'd met you, but I wasn't so serious about it. I just really fit into wherever I was living. But I started to not desire meat or eggs, fish, anything. And I loved being plant-based. My parents were doing it for other reasons like the environment or animals or anything. But I just, what really pulled on my heartstrings was just how good it is for your health, how clean You can clean out your body and all the things by just taking care of your body and knowing exactly what you put in it. So I'd come home, I'd thrive off these meals my mom was making, and I would just love it. And I felt great. So this is just what I did for sure at least 5 years.
Wow.
But it was great when we went to Reading. We were kind of like back in school when we were in that college. And people were bringing in like homemade things and donuts and treats. And like, I was like, oh, it has dairy. I can't eat it. Like, it was just kind of handy to eat clean. It was the handiest way to eat clean. Can't go Chick-fil-A, not going to eat chemical chicken.
Well, avoided putting on the freshman 15.
What?
You ever heard of that?
No. I avoided putting on the freshman.
Yeah, like
okay.
The freshman 15.
I think I know what you mean.
Yeah.
So it was just honestly handy. It was like the best way to be as clean as I could, and I felt great.
Yeah.
And then I introduced you to it, and you ended up loving the meals I was making. Like, we love food, so I want to eat a majority of the day. So it was really handy because I could have a bunch of calories because it was really good calories
all the time.
And we could eat all the time. So
so that's kind of Vicky's journey with it that we haven't heard yet. You've heard my story. If you haven't, go listen to the first episode. Vicky started cooking me these meals. I started to love it, started to feel better, committed to being plant-based, and it completely changed my life.
You were plant-based for 2 years?
No, probably over 3 years.
Was it?
Yeah, because we've only transitioned in the past
year.
Yeah. So at least 3.
Okay.
So, which is a long time, especially because we moved from California to Texas.
Oh, yeah.
Where
people thought we were freaks.
There's not even vegan options anywhere.
No one's even a vegetarian.
Where we live is the beef capital of the world. So
that's crazy.
A lot of times you can just smell slaughterhouses and all those things.
Yeah. So when you smell cows, you say, smells like money.
Smells like money.
Gosh.
Well, it's what keeps the economy around here.
Okay.
Anyways, so honestly felt amazing. We were thriving on it, loved it. And then Vicky got pregnant with Liberty, and you were plant-based the whole pregnancy.
Yeah, I was plant-based the whole pregnancy. Plant-based. Felt great. Had a great pregnancy. They just wanted to make sure I was getting enough protein in, and there's 20 grams of protein in chickpeas. I know all of the defense things that I would use to say.
Can you just explain, just in case there's not a listener, what is plant-based? We should have done this at the beginning.
We absolutely should have. So plant-based is a whole food plant-based diet. So it is eating, well, really what we're still doing, honestly, but we've added some dairy products back in, animal products. But a whole food plant-based diet is eating food from the ground. It's its natural form. It's still what we believe in, but it's just eating plants, grains, legumes. I'm gonna for sure forget some things, but it's basically the main thing is you're cutting out anything that has eyes. My dad says, like, anything that has a mum or dad and has eyes, you don't eat it. Like, anything that's an animal that's living, you just don't eat it. So that's what it's not.
So no dairy, no cheese, no meat.
Yeah, none of that.
Yeah. No fish. No
the reason that we were plant-based and not vegan is vegan you can still eat. You can still go to Chick-fil-A and you can get fast food. You can get fries. You can eat
that's
vegan food, which is really unhealthy. And a lot of some vegan food is really unhealthy and packed with chemicals and processed foods and all this horrible stuff. But if you're plant-based, you're really just eating from the ground. That's the main difference between plant-based and vegan.
Very good. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go back. You were plant-based the entire pregnancy.
Yeah, it felt great. They just, like I was saying, they wanted to make sure I got enough protein in. So I knew all the things. 20 grams of protein in chickpeas. I used to eat chickpeas a lot.
Chickpeas,
pinto beans, black beans, all the beans. And I loved it. So had a really, really healthy pregnancy.
Yeah.
A very hard but amazing birth, and stayed plant-based for about a year and a half. So Liberty was great. The Duffendacks are on the smaller side, so people would say, "Oh, she's so tiny," and I'm like, "Well,
was that a dig?
Is it a dig when people say it about Liberty?"
No. But you're saying it about me.
I mean, that's what you guys say, the Duff and Dak gene.
We're short.
So it was, Liberty was about a year and a half. But since she was a year old to a year and a half, I hope I'm right in saying this. I think she was about 17 pounds for 6 months, maybe 8 months. And we were like, okay, she is great. She's like wide-eyed, bushy-tailed, always having a great time, running around the place.
Yeah.
Eating so much food and really healthy food, but just wasn't putting weight on.
Mm-hmm.
So I think Blake was working. I brought Liberty into our midwives. They're amazing. We always just go and visit them. They're called Heartbeat. They're obviously here in Lubbock. So brought Liberty in and I was like, hey, like she hasn't put on not a pound in 8 months, but she's eating like a horse, but she is very active. Is that why? So they're asking me what she eats. And I was like, well, like we're plant-based. Like trying to I brought it up at the last minute. And they were like, okay, she probably needs some animal products. And at this time, I'm like, animal products are bad for you. They clog your arteries. They're not good for you. Yeah. They cause all this stuff. They're bad. So it was really hard for me to get my head around. But she told me to go get this really clean yogurt that she gives her kids, to get like the cleanest eggs we could find, like obviously best to come from a farmer. Anyway, all this stuff. So I get back in the car and I just felt so much peace and a little bit of a weight off my shoulders.
Yeah.
So I call Blake and I'm like, I think I'm going to go and buy some eggs and yogurt. I think this is what we need to do for Liberty. It's just the best thing for our daughter. We can't ignore this and we need to go and get her some good old animal stuff in her, you know? So I think I waited till you were home because I was kind of excited.
Yeah.
Didn't we go together?
We did.
And we went and got eggs and yogurt and a couple of things. And obviously Liberty didn't even know what an egg was. She's about a year and a half. So I remember making it and being like...
Which she had only been eating solids for how long? Because you breastfed...
Well, I breastfed for 18 months, but she started eating solids when she was like 6 months old.
Oh, okay.
So for about a year.
Okay.
But it's not like many kids would have a bunch of chicken and meat in their first, year of life. Maybe they do, but Liberty is having avocado and oats and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So we made eggs for Liberty. And then I was like, well, I'm just going to taste some to make sure that they're okay. And Blake was like, well, I'll just make us some more. So then we had some eggs and we're a little bit excited about it. They tasted pretty good.
Yeah. It's like, hell yeah.
Still hard. I was kind of like, I don't think it's bad for me, but I'm not really sure. I'm going to eat it anyway. Definitely didn't touch the yogurt for a while, but started with the eggs. We loved it. And then we would buy Liberty chicken and I could not get my head around beef. I was like, I'm not eating a cow yet. So honestly, for about 6 months, you were very excited because most of your life, I mean, most of my life too, but you've eaten meat your whole life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But you kind of went to town a little bit. He was a little excited.
Yeah.
He could finally have pepperoni now. So he wanted pepperoni pizza. And then he wanted deli meat sandwiches.
For a small window.
Can I just say to Americans, I'm going to get some trash in work this week again because everyone was giving out to me about Chick-fil-A. Deli meat's not good for you. We just have to clarify that. Like, even though we eat meat now, deli meat's not good for you. Continue.
Which is a bummer because I love sandwiches.
So Blake went to absolute town the other way.
I could just finally have a sandwich that I haven't had sandwiches in 3 years.
This all gets better.
Just for like a little window. I was like, I'm back.
I'm back with an extra 30 pounds.
Okay. Well, yeah.
You were.
No, I didn't gain an extra 30.
You did in Florida.
Oh, yeah, I didn't look great. There was a while I just lost my way.
He didn't want to take his top off.
Like, no, it was like, it's basically like you hadn't seen a friend in a while.
He got way
and
too
you just
excited.
had to spend quality time together is what it felt like. And I just went to the ditch. So we got realigned again. Was not being healthy. But one of the things that I realized in this was, one, there's a way to eat healthy and not just be plant-based. Mm-hmm. Like we started to learn that there's healthy ways to eat meat. There's healthy ways to consume dairy. But the main thing that I realized was what I was benefiting from going plant-based was actually cutting out all the other junk that I was eating before.
Yeah.
The chemicals, the preservatives, all the stuff that what we call is man food, stuff that's not even real food that I was consuming. When I went plant-based, I basically cut all of that out.
Right.
So my body
you
was...
can't eat that stuff if you're plant-based.
Yeah, it completely left my body. And so I felt healthy because truthfully, I wasn't eating poison every single day. And so, but towards the end of being plant-based after 3 years, I did start to notice, like, I feel like I do have some deficiencies. Like I started to feel like if I wasn't eating constantly, I would get a little, dizzy's a little dramatic, but like I just needed something. My body was missing something. So I was just kind of aware of what my body was saying. It's craving a little more, or I'm deficient in something. Something is going off in me that like maybe I should change something. But there was a little bit of part of me that was like, but you're plant-based. So that's what you need to do. So you can't start adding all this stuff because you're plant-based. You've been that way for 3 years. And it was like, this has been going on. And then when Vicky went and talked to the midwives and they said, well, maybe you should add this for your daughter. Right. It was like, okay, maybe it's time that we just think a little differently here.
Yeah. And I think that's the point where I'm so glad that we're open to hearing other people's opinions and perspectives. And that's when I realized that, like, oh gosh, thank goodness this is not an idol. Like, we don't worship being plant-based. Like, if God wants to speak in and use someone else to speak in and redirect our whole entire life, great, because we're open to it. And we really felt, when we both feel peace on something at the same time, straight away, we just know that it's what we're meant to do. So when we felt peace on that, we just knew, okay, let's start looking into this a little bit more. Now we went to the ditch and started eating the processed meats and the processed dairies and all the bad things that do make you feel sick and do clog your arteries and is bad for your body. But we decided to educate ourselves and do a bunch of research on clean animal products. So Heartbeat are midwives that we really trust. Dr. Ben Edwards is a doctor in town we really trust. So we learned a bunch from them that you can actually find, really like completely clean milk, clean yogurts. You can find grass-fed and finished beef. You can find clean cheese. And you can add them in. Now, I'm not having a hamburger every single night. I'm still not mad for meat, but I know that it's doing good to my body as well when I find it as clean as I can get it.
Yeah.
I think the main thing is we have always just wanted to live a healthy lifestyle. Even my dad, that's the term he uses, the term I've believed my whole life, like, let's just live a healthy lifestyle, not a diet. One diet doesn't fit all. And honestly, what frustrates me the most is diet brings division.
Right.
Like, if someone's plant-based, that's the only way. Like, the only way is plant-based. You can't eat, it's bad for you, this bad, blah, 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 blah. This research, that research. And then if someone like thrives off eating a little bit of meat or a lot of meat and gets their blood work taken and their blood's completely clean, well, then obviously what they're doing is working for them.
100%. Yeah.
And just like we talked about, Weston A. Price traveled the world to all these different tribes and all these different communities. And some communities were thriving off whale blubber. That's all they had access to. And they just died of old age. Then other tribes were eating mainly a plant-based diet, but also with a little bit of meat. He never found anyone that was just plant-based. And they were thriving. Yeah. And then you have people, I don't know who they are, but people that just hunt meat. They just kill meat, hunt meat, and they were like lean, jacked, shredded. Like, I wonder if you had taken their blood. I'm sure it was completely clean too.
That's the point, is like they were eating whatever their environment provided.
Yeah.
And you would call all of them healthy.
Yes.
Is what Weston A. Price basically was like.
Exactly.
These tribes are thriving.
Yeah.
That are just eating what's available to them in the most natural settings for their environment.
Yeah.
And so for us in our modern society, we have access to so many options. You can basically get the health version of whatever diet you want to do. We have access to it. So there's a lot of options. The problem is when we make our diet our identity.
Yeah.
When we say, this is who I am, if we were like, this is who we are plant-based. You don't get Blake and Vicky without fruit and veg, like without the plant-based label. And anywhere we go, can't eat that, we're plant-based. Sorry, you shouldn't eat it either. Like lecturing people, and it just comes out because, plant-based is who we are. I'm so thankful that we never got that way.
Right.
That wouldn't even be possible. But I see how easy your convictions can become your identity.
Yeah.
And all the stuff you see on social media, whether you're fully plant-based or you're 100% carnivore, it's like the problem is because carnivore could actually work for people, does work for people.
For a season, yes.
Yeah. And so it's like, well,
like
if I feel better because all I'm eating is meat, then that's what everyone should do. And it's like, absolutely not. But on social media, strong opinions are what get clicks, what get views, and what get attention. And attention is the currency in today's world. So that's why you see everything being turned into this divisive, my opinion against yours. And it's just not how we should be living.
Yeah.
The truth is, if you talk to a doctor, what are they saying to do? Based off what are your bloods saying? Based off what are you deficient in? Like, actually be open to what other people are saying, because it could actually change your life and benefit you.
Yeah.
Instead of being so close-minded.
Yeah, like for some women that I've been chatting to, some women love fasting in the morning, others don't. If you wake up and you're hungry, go eat. Like, honestly, how do you feel? So regardless of what the internet says or what this person says or what your best friend does, if you wake up and you're hungry, go eat an egg on some clean sourdough toast with some butter. Like, go do it. If you want to try fasting a couple times and see if you feel good till 11, that's amazing. Fasting is really, really good for you.
Yeah.
But you need to just see how your body feels, how it reacts. Like, you only know yourself if you're feeling good. If you eat a meal and you feel gross after it and you feel tired and it didn't feel like it fueled your body, there you go. It's probably, I bet it wasn't healthy. Like when we sit down and we have one of our favorite meals at the moment is just squash, zucchini and clean chicken. And we literally feel, we like chatting at the dinner table, we feel amazing. Then we walk away and we feel amazing. Like you just need to know how your body feels, and it has to be a lifestyle. Like, so like keto, paleo, vegetarian, vegan, plant-based, carnivore. If these diets become our identity and our idol and we start worshiping them, it just causes division.
Yeah.
It brings division and no one wants to be around you. And also, you're not going to do it your entire life, and we shouldn't.
Right, that's good. Yeah.
Dr. Ben talks about how being a little bit more keto or a little bit more plant-based or a little bit more carnivore in certain seasons is really good for your body, to just gently shock it a little bit for what it needs and then come back to more of a balanced diet. So it is interesting, and we can get into that more in the future or hopefully have them on. So
yeah, definitely. So the reason that we're even spending a whole episode on this, or honestly, we've spent pretty much the first 3 episodes on body, on diet, on health, is it's so important. I feel like, at least in America, it's so undervalued because you, like you said in one of the shows or episodes that you said in one of the episodes, in America, you have to consciously be making a choice to not live on the standard American diet.
yeah.
You have to actively make choices because everything is processed, has chemicals, is sprayed with chemicals. You have to be very mindful. So for one thing, learning to just eat real food can actually change your life, change your mental health, change your emotional health. That's why we're spending so much time on this, is just expressing that when you feel good physically, it should go into also feeling good mentally.
Yeah, so from being plant-based to now eating a little bit of clean animal products, the main thing I found was just freedom. I just feel so much more free to enjoy food that little bit more, to not be labeled, to not have a stamp on my forehead saying, I am this, I am that.
Yeah.
Our family's this, our family only eats this way. It's just brought a lot of freedom and a lot of truth. Like I said, we just feel like diet can bring a lot of division depending how you wear it, how you act about it. Also, I just think that if you wake up and you're hungry, you should go and eat. If your body feels good after eating something, you're probably eating the right thing. If you don't, you probably don't need to eat it. Like, we just want to make sure we're eating God food, not man food. We also want to enjoy ourselves. Blake and I eat 90% clean, 10% not clean. We do the best as we can to stay within that.
And I would say, like, two main points to this whole thing as far as like your health journey in your body is, one, always be listening. Listen to your body, first of all. And then you need to be listening to other people, physicians, doctors, or even just your peers that know you very well. Like, the problem is when we stop listening, that's when it becomes, okay, this is our idol. This has become who we are. We're not hearing anybody else's opinion.
Right.
Because they don't know, which is basically pride in us saying we know more than everybody.
Yeah.
It's never the case. The other thing is just growth, which goes along with that. You have to be listening in order to grow. We were plant-based and believed plant-based was the healthiest option. I think it still is very, very healthy. But the truth is, I don't know everything. And I'm going to listen to people that know more than me. I'm also going to listen to my body, because I may not be doing this plant-based diet 100% the right way. And so I think it's continuing. I'm just not going to stop listening, and I'm not going to stop growing. And I'm just going to take steps that I know to take right now. For some people, you just need to, like Vicky talked about in the previous episode, cut out the canola oil.
Right.
Cut out the wheat. Like, just do one thing a week.
Yeah.
I'm going to avoid this now, or I'm going to
stop having sodas.
Yeah, brilliant. Like, let's just take a step.
Yeah.
This is a journey. It's not a sprint. Growth takes time, and it takes intentionality.
And for it to become a lifestyle, it needs to be more of a slow process. Like, we're still figuring out what clean animal dairy products we like. We're tasting a really clean cottage cheese. Some days we like it, some days we don't. Like, we're still
and
trying
how
to
our body responds to it.
Exactly. Yeah. We're still trying to figure out. But on both sides, plant-based and not, anytime that I eat anything that's processed in a packet that's full of chemicals, that's when my body rejects it and my stomach's sore and I feel miserable that day and the next day. And I feel like I literally just need to eat kale and some beetroot or I might die. So that can happen either way for me, because you can still eat processed foods either way. So we really need to mainly focus on not what we need. Well, what we need to eat, yes. But like Blake said, just start eliminating some of that processed food, some of those chemicals.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, add in some good fruits and veggies, but.
And what simplifies it, the God food, not man food. What I love so much is like diet always took up so much of my mental capacity.
Yeah.
Like, I would always talk about eating clean and stuff and diet, and I'd be like, it's just like I just took on another part-time job. Yes. Like, I'm constantly having to think about it. I'm constantly having to meal prep or doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, if we can just get to eat God food, not man food, basically your choices when you go to the grocery store, the farmer's market, it's second nature. It's automatic. It's like we simple. Talk about the whole middle part of the grocery store, I'm just not even going to go to.
Yeah.
Because none of that stuff is God food.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a big thing is diet. We think like we have to be counting our calories and we have to put it into MyFitnessPal and all this stuff. And it's like, if we can just simplify it and eliminate just the junk to start with, it can actually become second nature to where you have the mental capacity and physical capability to do so many other things because you're not consumed with just what you're eating.
Yeah. So good. Well, amen. So good. Yeah, no, I hope you enjoyed listening to that today. So we are going to be doing something exciting starting from next week onwards. So we're going to be doing, anyone that's listening in, we're going to be answering some of your questions. So comment below, message us on Instagram, any questions you guys have. We're going to take about 5-10 minutes in the podcast next week, and we're going to be answering some questions you guys have. So get specific, get personal, whatever you need to ask, we're here for it.
Yeah.
I like the awkward questions, Blake doesn't. So let's make him feel uncomfortable next week.
Okay.
So yeah, make sure you let us know what you want to ask.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks again for tuning in. See you next week.
Have a good week. Bye.